All right. Hey, everybody. This is Angela from Living Well Now Leadership. I am so happy and blessed to be joined today by two of my favorite accountability partners, running buddies, and family members. These are my sister-in-loves, Sarah Leone and Andrea Lehman. Sarah and Aaron are silver leaders in Young Living and growing an amazing online business especially, and also creating community and all sorts of dreams come true in Carlsbad, California. So we're glad that you're with us, Sarah. And Andrea Lehman and my brother Andy are diamond leaders from Surprise, Arizona, where they are busy parents. And Andrea is a busy mom who also homeschools. And I just feel super blessed that you two were able to join us today on this call about our introductory script and maybe some tips and tricks about how our Living Well Now team has been so successful over the last couple of years, especially by duplicating the system that is laid out before us. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that we have everybody else muted. So just give me a second here. Oh, I can't. Somebody else is, maybe Sarah, you can make sure everybody else is muted.
Okay.
Oh, here. What if I do this? Oh, did that change the recording?
Nope, it's still recording. It's good.
Okay, then I can do that.
Awesome.
All right, so you guys can unmute yourselves. Okay. So to get started today, a couple of years ago, Andrea, several years ago, when we heard about in-home classes at the 2012 Young Convention, we knew that this was how we were going to perpetuate the success of our business. And since learning even more business skills, we discovered that it's not what works, it's what duplicates. So I remember sitting next to you in an airplane writing out the first time we did the script. And then this summer, I think the three of us were in the back seat of a rental car editing the script even more. So it's very, very fun to be at this stage now, giving our leaders and their new members the best possible option for success. So I think, Sarah, you're going to tell us first about why and what parts of the script are the best to utilize. Remember that our script is found on our website at livingwellnow.com, and the password to that website is located in our Facebook group obviously on Facebook, Living Well Now Business Builders. So Sarah, go ahead and get us started with the beginning part of the script, and maybe if you haven't muted yourself, make sure everyone else is muted so we don't have background noise, and we're good to go.
Awesome. So yeah, I'll just start off with, I think we're just going to sort of go through the script today, right, Ange? Take everyone through it a bit?
Yes, and we didn't talk about this, but I can also share screen at some point if we want to show any of it. I'll pull that up. So.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, so the beginning parts of the script I feel like are so important because it's just about prepping for the class. And this is something that when Aaron and I first started, we did not do. We did a cold read of the script, and I had a girl recently who came to one of our classes about a month ago, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you guys have improved so much. I remember coming to one of your first classes and you just looked so nervous, and you have just grown leaps and bounds." And I think she came to one of the classes where it was like one of the first times I was reading the script and I didn't practice beforehand. So that's really what I want to start off with, is just practicing. We've really shortened the script a lot, which I love. And yeah, so just practicing so that when we're in a class, we're not doing what I did the first time where I'm just looking down at the words. We're giving eye contact and engaging with people. And so that's what I would say is practice the script at least 5 times. One thing that Ange and I were talking about, what I like to do is I've actually cut the script into note cards and I've stapled it together that way so it's shorter. And I've highlighted the words that I want to say. So not all of the words in the script I actually say. Most of them I do, but I kind of make it my own a little bit more. And that's really helped that's really been very, very helpful. So something you may want to do is make note cards for yourselves. A couple people on our team have done that, where you're basically just writing the script out on note cards, and it's giving you a chance to practice. You know how we used to do that in high school or college, is writing what we need to learn on note cards and practicing it that way. So that's another chance for you to practice. And then also just the recommended things that we're bringing to class. And am I on the right path right here?
You're doing great, Sarah. Awesome.
Okay, awesome. Let me know if there's something else you want me to say or go over. But yeah, just the things to bring to class, just making sure. For me, when I do a class, I'm starting to prep probably 3 hours before, just because I want to make sure that everything is good to go. I'm not missing something. I know, again, when we first started, at Angie's house, I'd get ready for a class and it would be 30 minutes before it would start. And then during the class, I'd be like, oh no, I don't have a balloon, or I don't have this. So that's really important. And a lot of you, if you have the script pulled up from livingwellnow.com, you can see what you need to bring. But just, making sure you have the class handouts and your script good to go. Awesome, Ange. And then it also says enrollment forms. We'll go over that a little bit at the end. And that's something that we just updated as well. And that's a really good paper to have with you at a class, just in case Wi-Fi is down and you want to sign somebody up that way. Or in case maybe you have tons of people at your class and you don't have enough computers, or you don't have enough people to help you. An enrollment form is a great tool to have to lay out on the table, or hand to somebody when you're talking to them after the class, just in case, you're not going the computer route. Awesome. That's so cool, Ange, that you can circle that on there. You're so techie. And I think that's it for that part, right, Ange? Anything else?
I think one of the reasons we shortened it was because we wanted people to get through the information in a quality amount of time. Can you speak to that a little bit, Sarah?
Yeah, I think for me, when I was beginning this, it was a little daunting to have an hour, sometimes hour and a half class with the script, and be staring down. It felt a little wordy. And so, just shortening it gives us more time to, again, just engage with people around us and make it more entertaining for them to listen to and watch.
Awesome. Cool.
And it also should only take about 45 minutes now to do this class. So that way we have that extra 15 minutes to do, to ask the Eric Worre questions with them afterwards, and chit chat and sign them up. So then it's not a 2-hour class. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Yep, exactly. Sometimes we verbally vomit over our guests because we're so excited.
Yeah.
Cool. You'll notice that there are a few things that are highlighted here at the beginning. These are not intended to be read out loud. So we tried to make that really clear so that you aren't saying, select a few volunteers to try a product topically or aromatically as a demonstration. So hopefully that will help you, again, if you're practicing the script or writing it out for yourself, that will help kind of guide you in the action steps to make it a really interactive and enjoyable class for your guests as well. I also really like that we've added this part here in the middle about what to expect, so that you tell people up front what they're going to learn about, so that they know if their expectations will be met during the class.
Awesome. I also love the part, I think it was in yellow, about sharing your story, just practicing your story to how you were introduced to the products beforehand. That was also something that I was kind of not so good at in the beginning, but just practicing that is super helpful. So then you don't necessarily have to read word for word. You can look up and just share your story confidently.
Yes, for sure. Great. Is it easier for me to do this, or do you want to go back to?
No, this is, I think, well, this works for me. I don't know if this works for everyone.
I know not everybody can see what we're doing. So those of you who are just calling in, make sure you check this recording, because we'll have the script showing as well as this vocal or verbal communication about it, just so that you can follow along. So again, the parts that we shortened were some of the introductory pieces. So we still want to make the point that there are problems and we have solutions, and we still want to make the point that we have one of the best and most popular and most client loyalty type company in the industry. So those are the things that we kept in the script to make that really important to why we choose Young Living essential oils. Cool. Anything else from the beginning, Sarah, that you want to highlight?
I think that's it. I think the only other thing I would say is sometimes people want to ask questions. People who are at the class, they want to ask questions while you're doing the script. And something that's worked for us is we've just said, we'll answer questions at the end, and that way it still continues to flow.
Cool. Andrea, anything that you would throw in at this point about the beginning? I know we have this divided out, but do you have any other words of wisdom for the beginning section? Okay, a couple more that I would throw out there too. Really engage your host or hostess in what you're doing as well. It's really important that you consider how they can integrate with you. This is sometimes kind of a training ground for you to demonstrate. Again, it's duplicatable, so you want to show that they can do this as well. So having them introduce you, helping them create giveaways and tell their story as well, I think really makes it engaging. There is a second side to the handout. The first side obviously has the oils on it. It's all compliant information. And then the back side of the handout is what's called a graphic organizer in the educational classroom. And that's intended for people to be able to organize their notes so that they can write down specific testimonials you share or things that they learn that they want to remember. That's different from what's on the front side. And then we also, a couple of things I think that you might not know about. One is the sign-in forms are now 4 to a page. And I like to cut those ahead of time so that, 2 reasons. One, I think people give more information when other people aren't looking at what they're writing. And 2, I like to do it that way so then I can collect them and use them for my drawing at the end. So there's no need for raffle tickets. When Sarah reminded about getting ready for a class in 30 minutes, I was always the one who said, oh, I forgot the raffle tickets, and I was ripping up paper at the last minute. And so this is a much more professional way to draw winners from the raffle and the giveaway, I think. And then the second thing is it's always fun to engage them in a contest and have them start to develop a list of people that they would invite to an upcoming class. Well, a list of people that could benefit from the product so that they're already thinking about who they might invite to an upcoming class.
Awesome. And I'm cracking up because I was talking away and didn't realize I was on mute. And then you started talking. I was like, why did she?
I was like, so Andrea stepped away from her computer. I'm just going to keep going.
It's funny.
Okay. So we want to go to the middle section?
Yes.
Okay. And one thing I'll just add in there, and it may have been said, my side wasn't working, so I had to reconnect. So I don't know if you guys already addressed this, but the script really stands alone. And is it perfect? No, nothing will ever be perfect, but it works. It gets results. And so I would just really encourage, especially people who are new to building a business. I know sometimes our ego gets in the way and we're like, oh, I can make this better, or whatever, just use it. It works. And spend your time on income producing activities. Spend your time working on this so that it comes away in a way that you can interact with everybody and it's not just stiff and impersonal. And spend your time on prospecting, spend your time on sharing, spend your time on following up, spend your time on getting people started. Don't spend your time recreating the wheel because the wheel already works. Okay, so let's talk about the middle section really quickly. That's going to be the bulk of your time where you're sharing stories. And we know that the truth is that stories are what sells. You can listen to the features of things all day long, and it's not going to stir at hearts. It's not going to help people to imagine themselves using these products. But when you share stories, either stories of yourself or your stories, people are going to connect. and they're going to be pulled into to what you're sharing about, and it's going to make them want to experience those things too. So if you go to the middle of the script, we really took out all of like the verbiage about the different oils, and those are the areas where you really want to work on sharing a couple of stories for each oil. Not more, not 4 or 5 or 6, but just a couple of stories for each oil. We don't want to, as Ange said earlier, we don't want to verbally vomit on people and share 1,000 ways they're going to use each oil. Because if you remember when you were first introduced to the oils, it's probably pretty overwhelming, right? All of, just getting to know a few oils can feel a little overwhelming. Well, we're presenting 10 plus oils at this class. So sticking to just 2 uses for each of them is what you want to do. And really practice your stories, because you want to share stories. You don't want to just say, oh, this oil can do this and this and move on. You want to actually share, okay, so this is how I experienced it, or this is what happened and this is how we used it. I have told my thief story about pulling it out of the medicine cabinet, uncapping it for the first time, rubbing it on my glands. I've told that story like 1,000 times. But remembering that each time you share it, it's to somebody who's never heard it before. So you're going to get bored with your stories, but each time you share it, it's with somebody new. So I always like to, when I go into a class, try to put myself back in that place of where I was when I first started using the oils, when I first had those aha moments of them working, and realizing that that's where people who are coming to the class are. It's brand new, it's fresh to them. And so it's going to be exciting for them if they catch on to that. So just share in that vein. The other thing I want to say is that when you're sharing in your home or at a friend's home, you have a lot more freedom to share the truth of how these oils have worked for you than what you do on social media or in Facebook groups or in written print. So don't stress out so much about whether or not you're saying a word that you shouldn't say. Obviously, we don't want to diagnose or prescribe ever. That's really not our jobs, but it's okay to share your stories. Like in home classes, I share the story about my infected toe and how thieves, it was all pussy and disgusting, and thieves completely took it away in 3 days. Like, not compliant, but in my home, I'll share that story with my friends. And that's from Mary Young. She said, in your home, you're not under the same, restrictions. So know that you have more freedom. Somebody on this call that I was communicating with today, I don't think she's on anymore. That's so funny. I was having a conversation with somebody. Oh, no, she is. Carrie. Hi. Carrie Bowman. Frankincense promotes healthy cells. So read between the lines on that. Helps with those non-healthy cells that may not be dying off when they should. Healthy cells. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's that middle section. Just practice your stories. And then if we want to go on to the last section, can you put the script up again and get to the 3 types of people?
Yes. Where did I put that? Where did it go?
So here's the deal. We did change this last part of the script to talk about 3 types of people. And it is all psychology, guys. The way that we really put the script together is based on psychology. What's going to speak to people? We address, in the beginning of the script, we talk about problems so that we can offer a solution. We put in some looking at some possible objections, and we answer those objections before, they would be asked, things like that. And then this last part, people want to be the third person. They want to be the person that you're excited for. They want to be the person that's taking health into their own hands and, that type of thing. So if you haven't looked at this yet, it addresses the first person is the one that's like not really interested, and you're respecting them. It's okay. Thank you for coming to the class. Come up and ask me some more questions because there may be something we haven't addressed, or at least take my email so that if something comes up, I can, be there to support you later on down the road. And then talks about the second type of person where you're interested, but you need to do some more research, and how, you really respect that person because you understand people wanting to do their research. So once again, you're honoring them. And then third person, you're all excited for them because they're ready to start this journey, and it's going to change their lives and all of that stuff. So this is what I want to say about this part. One of my favorite trainers, Danny Johnson, she uses this every First Steps to Success class or conference we go to. She uses this at some point during it. And it's natural. It just sounds natural. I heard Nicole Perez, she's another diamond with Young Living. She uses the same close here. It sounded so natural. And then we put it in, right? And I've never used it before. And the first time I went to use it, not following my own advice, I went to a class and hadn't practiced this. It felt so awkward. And it was only because I hadn't practiced it. So then before that next class, when I used this, I practiced it. I practiced it a bunch of times to where I knew what was coming. I know what words. I knew like the feeling of that first, second, third person and what I was trying to communicate. And it felt totally, completely different. So just reiterating that you really want to make sure you're going over the script a number of times before you go out to use the script. And it's not going to feel as awkward. And then also if there's, especially in that section there, if there's some wording you want to change a little bit, as long as you keep the heart of it the same, it's fine. If you want to change some wording, that's fine. I would try to encourage you not to change too much about the script, knowing that a lot of it is done with psychology in mind. And so there are very purposeful sections, like don't take out the hand raising. That's asking 3 questions. You want people to respond 3 times with a yes response. It's psychology. Anyway, so that section, and then at the very end, you're sharing that you have you're leading them, right? So you're sharing that you have a computer, you have enrollment forms available for those who are ready to get started tonight. Now this is an important piece. If you are there with another person, let's say that your sponsor is there or you're there with a new business builder on your team, one of you goes to the computer, the other person stays and interacts with the people. Do not stand up front and ask questions. You move. Whoever's presenting, move automatically away from the stage. You don't want to get into this question asking thing at the end because you want to leave them with their thoughts and their processing to decide, okay, am I doing this tonight? Okay, leading them to where you want them to go. So that's why we have at the end, you just say thank you. You don't say anything more. Stop talking. Don't take questions, okay? So then if you're the person who's going to go around and chat with guests, you're just interacting with them. And so here's a good place to say, I say one of the things that I am working on getting better at, I love, Sarah, that you say that you prep for a few hours before the class, because I'm still in that space of not doing enough prep before the class and kind of like running around doing things last minute. What I'm working on getting better at is being completely set up and done by the time that guests arrive, so that when guests start arriving, I'm interacting with them. I'm forming them. I'm chatting with them. I'm getting to know them. I'm asking them what they're interested in and why they decided to come. You know, all of those things. Just building that rapport with them before, because people will decide most of the time before the class even starts if it's something that they want to be a part of. And part of them deciding that is what their interaction with you who's sharing about this is like. If you're just completely distracted, you're not paying attention to them, you're doing your own thing, getting ready, you're not sending a very good first impression. And so, so just being ready to interact in the beginning. And then the same thing at the end, where, can you pull that up again? Sorry, Ange.
Nope, that's okay.
There's questions to ask the guests at the end of the script. So as guests are talking, one of the leaders engage them in conversation, starting with, tell me what you liked best about what you heard. And that probably, if it's your first time reading that, it's going to sound awkward to you. You just need to practice saying it. So tell me what you liked best about what you heard tonight. Ask more questions to learn about their needs and goals. Then
Sarah, are you hearing Andrea? Because I'm not.
No, she's.
Is it just me? Okay.
Frozen.
All right. So the second question then that you used to follow up. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can bring this back. Oh, good.
Sorry, I don't know why I dropped there. I don't know where you stopped hearing me either. What did you hear?
We had just gotten to the first question.
Okay, so tell me what you like about what you hear.
Right.
Okay, so then the whole point of that is you want to get them talking. You want them to reflect on the class and where they connected with it, what things they would use, and you can use statements like, tell me more about that. So why did that stand out to you, or why is that up for you, or whatever. And you just want to not be talking a lot. You want them to be talking. So just getting them answering questions, and then it's just so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being totally ready. Where are you in terms of getting started? Some of the people you're going to know right at the end of class, they're going to pop up, they're ready to go. But these are those who are left, you're kind of just assessing where they are at. So that's how we do the end of it. And that's been really effective. Obviously, if you're there by yourself leading a class and you don't have somebody with you, you're not going to be able to do that part. So you're just going to go to the computer and that's fine. But whenever there's two people, one person goes to help with enrollments, the other person is working the craft, chatting with people.
Well, and I think you're really onto something there, Andrea, because this is part of our internal conversation that we've had before. The close is really important, but having a strong close and giving people a very clear call to action of what their next step is to get started. Because even if you're only by yourself and you're sitting at the computer waiting to take enrollments, they have enrollment forms that they can fill out, and then you can still be asking them those questions from the computer, because then you're showing very purposefully that you have a job right now, and that's to help them get started. Even if they're only signing up as a retail customer after you're finished with your class. You don't, if you just chit chat in the kitchen without being purposeful in opening up your computer or helping people fill out their enrollment forms, then you might walk away from that class without officially closing anybody because nobody's really sure who's in charge.
And be strong, right? And on the close, be strong about when you're sharing about the $160 kit. We know, all of us on this call know that that is a great value for what you get. And if you keep the focus on the person who is there learning about it and not on yourself, about making $50, it takes that pressure off of you, and you can just really share from your heart, knowing that if they embrace these oils, how it will change their lives physically, emotionally, and maybe financially too, right? So just be strong on that. Learn from us. We were very weak in the beginning on sharing the clothes.
Oh my. Absolutely. Absolutely. And remember, if you're new on this call today, know that, I just want to appreciate Andrea and Sarah for giving tips and words of wisdom from the field. I mean, really, the reason we ask them to do it is because they have that experience and they have the know-how to share with us why we do it the certain way. Your sponsor and enroller, especially your senior star executive and above leaders, they also know this. They also know the value of the script, and they know how important it is that we duplicate our success. So really go to them for training and support. We teach in our Steps to Success as a business leader that we are to first do a class for a new member, then do it with them, and then let you do it on your own. Some people come at various stages in that game, but the important thing is that you feel the support of your sponsor and enroller and the people that are encircling you with this, so that you can teach the next people to have these classes as well. Mm-hmm. If there are any, I think we can, are there questions from the group that's gathered? We don't typically take questions with Wednesday Wisdom, and we're at that 30-minute mark. We can leave the recording on and just let people hang up now if they're finished. But if you have questions that you're curious to know more about, we'd love to take those for a few minutes that we have left today.
Would you like me to shut the recording off, Ange, or leave it on?
I don't know. I think let's keep it going, because if somebody has the same question somebody else does, and they can always choose to listen to this later or cut it.
Awesome.
We're just going to be a few minutes. So anyone want to share a question? Carrie chatted a question. Is there a Wednesday Wisdom every day, every Wednesday? No, these last 2 weeks we did back-to-back because of our travel schedule. Usually these are twice a month. So be checking in the Business Builders group for the next 2 that will be in November, and then 2 more, or I guess we'll have another one maybe in October, and then we'll have 2 in November as well. And you can find them on YouTube if you haven't listened to them before. There's some really great content on YouTube. Our channel is LWN Resources. It actually might be Living Well Now there as well. Other questions you have about script? Or Shauna, you look like you're busting to say something. Can you tell us about something? Would you agree with us on what we've shared today?
Tell us more about that, Shauna.
Yeah, tell us more about your...
Totally disagree with everything you said.
Shauna Allred's a gold leader in our team, and I know this has been a valuable part of your success as well, being coachable and not trying to reinvent the wheel, and it's worked.
I mean, truly, that is exactly, I was saying some other things while I was listening. So if I looked like I was intense, it's probably because I was thinking about some other things too. But 100% agree with everything that was said, that this works. And I'm proof of that because I walked into this system and was coachable and did exactly what you guys told me to do. And it's built me to gold leader. And so all I can say is totally do what works. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. And then I guess the only other thing is that I've seen sometimes is we feel like maybe it gets too long, or even the shortened one. And so people tend to not want to finish it. And they'll just kind of do the oils and then, okay, well, I'm not going to read that part. And what I've seen is then nobody signs up. And it's so tragic. So just do the whole thing, even if it doesn't feel like it's an important part to you. I remember once somebody, I could have cared less when I first started about the farms. I'm just being honest. I could have cared less about the information about Young Living as a company. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, just tell us about the oils. Like, that is not important to me at all. However, I learned that there was a person that came along once, and all she wanted to know was why Young Living and the farms and the integrity of the company. And had I not read that part of the script, she wouldn't have been. She was sold on essential oils, but she wanted to know why our farms versus another company. And so even if it doesn't feel important to you, still read all of it, because somebody in the room, it's important to them, and it's all different personalities. So let your desires and ego and all that, like Andrea said, or whoever said at the beginning, go away and just do the whole thing. So that's all I got. You guys rock. It's awesome. I love it. I'm so grateful. So grateful for the resources. So grateful for the time you guys have spent. So thank you.
Thanks, Shauna.
We're grateful for you too.
Very grateful.
Any other questions or thoughts before we close out our session today? Thanks again for taking time for this, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Great to understand where to find it, how to do it, and you're plugging into all the right things. Awesome. Thanks to you, Sarah and Andrea. Look forward to our trip together soon.
Yay!
Thanks for hosting.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good evening.